Hello everybody, my name is Kenny and welcome back to another video. So in my previous video, Collapsible Hotbar, I've been getting a lot of positive feedback about what the video is all about, but I've also been getting a lot of questions about what each command actually does and what scripts there are in the game and what these lines actually mean, because a lot of people have been DMing me on Twitter or on Discord asking me exactly what do these mean so then they can get a further understanding of it.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
That way you can play around with it a little bit more for yourself, as well as customize it your own way instead of having to copy the way I do it per se. So in this video, I'm going to be talking just about that. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, please pause this video right now. Make sure to click on the top right of the screen. This is going to take you to the collapsible hotbar video that I created a couple weeks ago. Basically, what it's going to be like is that you're going to make a customized hotbar where you're able to toggle on and off these additional hotbars that will basically be able to shuffle through multiple commands. And this way you have a lot more hotbars on your screen and it'll be a lot more cleaner rather than it being like jumbled up in one corner of your screen and constantly being shown. So if you are interested in something like that, please again pause the video, go watch that video first. Do it, because then it'll give you an understanding of what this video is all about. And then if you're not sure what's going on, please come back to this video and I will be explaining a little bit more of what each command does. This way it gives you an understanding of what I'm doing, as well as giving you a way to be able to customize it a little bit more unique and maybe to your own liking. All right, with that being said, let's get started. To get started, I'm going to be talking about the basic commands for the actual hotbar. Now in this section, I'm going to be talking about all the acronyms for all the non-job classes that you're going to be able to utilize for the specific macro that we're working on right now, as well as a few other scripts and commands that will allow you to turn on and off certain certain overlays on the screen, as well as giving you more of like customization. And you can also add even more stuff if you like for your own customization for yourself. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is going to be the /HUD. Now the /HUD represents anything that's going to be in the category of a HUD. Now when it comes to category in the HUD, it's going to be anything that if you were to click on HUD layout, any of these can be used as a macro. So if you type in /HUD and then put in duty list, it's going to be referencing anything to do with the duty list. If you do it something, for example, if you want to put alliance list, you can also do /HUD alliance list. Now I personally only focus on two, which is going to be duty list and scenario guide. Now the reason why I only focus on these two is because sometimes I don't really care to look at my duty list as well as my scenario guide. So I want to be able to freely just disable it or enable it. When you put anything in quotation marks, is going to be talking about that particular thing. So you want to make sure you type all of these things correctly. And then any of these like brackets is going to represent the switch, the light switch that I mentioned in the previous video. If you have it on/off, that means that you are able to freely click on and off any of these like commands. Whenever I want to, I can click it multiple times to either have it on or off. That's basically what this section of the text means. /HUD is just going to be the category of what you're referencing is all about. So to go into further, I'm going to go ahead and briefly talk about every single non-job class acronym. This way, when you start creating your hotbar commands, you won't make a mistake by putting in the wrong acronym for every job. You're only able to utilize the extra hotbars that you are able to get by using non-job classes. And what I mean by that is you're going to be using jobs that don't have a stone. So you can't use any expansion jobs like an astrologian or samurai. You can only do jobs that have a two-name part. So for example, paladins will have a gladiator, which is going to be the non-job starting class before you become a paladin, which is the actual job. Same with warrior, you start off as a marauder. If you start with a white mage, then you will start with a conjurer before you become a white mage. Every one has its own acronym. So this is what I'm going to go ahead and teach you real quick, just so you know. So ARC is going to be talking about the archer. ACN is going to be talking about the arcanist. Conjurer is going to be CNJ. LNC is going to be talking about the lancer. MRD is marauder. PGL is going to be the pugilist. TMH is going to be the thaumaturge. Rogue is going to be the rogue, of course. Rogue is one of the unique jobs where you can actually start off as a rogue. So in order for you to unlock the rogue job, you do have to go talk to the trainer in Limsa Lominsa to be able to obtain an extra, hotbar slot. And last but not least is going to be GLA, which is going to be talking about the gladiator. Now, every job has its own acronym. So you do want to be referencing these acronyms in every single section of the commands. So if you're going to be copying your Arcanist hotbar 1 to your current hotbar 5, then you want to make sure you are typing in ARC. Now this is where it may differ between me and you. Depending on what jobs you have as a prerequisite, this will change. So if you have only, for example, a Lancer, right? Then you want to be changing this to a Lancer, switch over back to the Lancer job, and then start rearranging all of the hotbars like that you want to be able to pull from when you are actually on your current job. So this is something that you want to make sure this is the correct acronym for every job. You can always pause this video if you want to make sure this is correct. If you're never sure what it actually is, you can always go on Google and type in what the Final Fantasy XIV acronyms are for certain jobs. The next thing I want to talk about is going to be the actual hotbars. So if I take off my jobstone, right, this is where things get a little bit interesting. So like in the video that I mentioned before, this is where you can start customizing all of your buttons. If I show all my jobs, this is what the formation is going to look like. Right now, these are where you're going to start to reference all of your jobs. Now if you go into your if you follow the previous video and you go to all of these jobs, then it's basically going to be talking about the hotbar, which is the category of what we're trying to copy right now. So the slash hotbar is going to be the category that it's talking about, and we wanted to copy whatever is in Lancer 1's hotbar to whatever our current job 8 hotbar. So we're going to be copying whatever this line is to our actual, if I go ahead and showcase it, if I go to my actual Dragoon job, then it will showcase. So this will be what it shows, because I'm currently a Dragoon, not a Lancer anymore. I'm a Dragoon. So whatever is in my hotbar 8, as you can see right here, hotbar 8 is going to be referencing everything in my Lancer hotbar 1. So that's what that macro does. It's going to copy the Lancer 1 to your current 8. That's all there is when it comes to these hotbar commands. Now, you want to do that for every job that you have assigned, like whatever buttons you have, you want to copy and make one for every single one. So hotbar mount 1 is where I copy my Pugilist 1 to my current 7. Mount 2 is my Pugilist 2 hotbar to my current 7. So the same section, because again, we wanted to stay in the same current hotbar, but we want to reference a different hotbar number in the current same hotbar. It's a little confusing, but hopefully this gives you a little bit of more of understanding what I'm actually trying to reference during the whole collapsible hotbar trick. So now I'm going to go ahead and talk about all the Gearset macro. Now, the Gearset macro is pretty simple. So we're going to reference the /GS, which is Gearset. We can also write it in as Gearset, like just like that. It will, the computer or the program will still understand what it's trying to recall. So as long as you write it in as /Gearset or /GS, it will reference the same command. It'll be the same thing. So don't worry if you're typing it in as Gearset or GS, it's going to be the same thing. Now it's going to be changing it to number 1. Now number 1 is going to reference anything under your Gearset list. So this is where all of these numbers are referencing from. So when you want to reference your Paladin set, which is my number 1 currently, then you want to make sure that you are /GS changing into number 1. Now all of these things I'll explain a little bit more later, but this is going to basically just be explaining to you what this command is trying to do. So this macro is going to allow me to, whenever I click it, the computer will automatically go into my gear list set and double click on my Paladin, which allows me to transform into my Paladin immediately. You do that for every single job that you currently have. Now, if you have everything unlocked, this is going to be a lot more easier because you don't have to worry about changing it ever again. But if you are starting off and you still have a few jobs that are not maxed out, or you don't have all the jobs unlocked, you will have to go back once you've unlocked them and create another one and make sure it is corresponding to the right number. Okay, this way it's going to be a lot easier for you to understand or reference which job is to which logo. Now, this is also very important because we're going to lead into the icon macro. Now, the icon macro is going to just represent to M, so macro /macro icon. Now, by default, you are given about 4 slots or 4 tabs of different macros. Now, it's not very customizable. There's not a lot of options that you have. You can only have up to, you know, all of these that you currently have. So it's really easy to run out of icons to use. Now this is where it gets really interesting, and the game allows you to actually reference a specific item or skill or anything, as long as it has a category in your inventory or if you have unlocked it. Now, what I mean by that is, so as long as you have the item in your inventory like this, or you have a specific item like a weapon piece or armor piece in your inventory, or even if you have an item in your inventory, as long as you have that on your character, you can always reference it in any macro. So for example, right now I'm referencing a macro icon, which is the general rule of thumb when it comes to referencing some sort of icon. Basically, you're telling the program that, hey, I want to be replacing the icon as a macro icon, right? Instead of the defaulted icons that you have. And you're going to be using the name, again, everything in quotation mark. You're going to be referencing all the names of the item that you're looking for. And then this is where it gets a little tricky. Now, they all fall under specific categories. Now, I'm going to go ahead and write on the screen here what different categories there are. There is action, blue action, PvP action, general, emotes, companion, pets, minions, mounts, gear set, and class job, as well as items. Every category is different depending on which icon you're trying to reference. Now, for example, if I was in this section right here, right, and I wanted to reference a specific icon, for example, then what I could technically do is I can type in M icon, and then in quotation marks, type in the actual, let's say this, I'm trying to reference a skill, for example, then I will definitely want to reference the category as action. This way, look, this way it automatically changes to an action of heavy shot. This is the heavy shot icon. Now, if you were to accidentally type this in as an item, it doesn't know what you're talking about because it doesn't know that heavy shot is an item. It's trying to look through the list of icons that you have in your character, on your character, and it's coming up short because it's trying to look for items. So it's either looking for your inventory, your armory chest, or even like, I don't know, your any spot that is an item is trying to look for it, but it just can't. So you're confusing the system.
What the fuck is this?
By not referencing the right category. So you definitely want to type in the right category by saying action. This way you have the icon action. Now this is really useful because now you're able to basically customize all of your icons to whatever you specifically want, which is very cool in my opinion. And it allows you to be able to navigate and make everything look a little bit more unique, a little bit cooler, because if things start to look very similar, like for example right here, my key items, my consumable, my shortcuts, and my instruments are all the same icon. Now this is really confusing because I might misplace, or I might not remember which section is which. Luckily there's only 4 buttons, so it's not too hard to find, but it still takes some time to read, right? But if you went to my gear set, for example, boom, I already know, for example, this is tanks, this is healers. This could be, of course, change a little bit. I could probably do something with DPS, something a little bit with range, and something with magical, and then these are also very different. So that way I know by visually which button's gonna take me to which hotbar. This way it's a little bit more customizable and you have a lot more freedom on what you can do with all of these macros. Hopefully this gives you an understanding of what I'm going through when it comes to this thing and how you can customize your overlay to be more your style or the way you want it to be. Just take whatever I taught you here and try to utilize it and however you want to make it. There is a few more things that I do want to mention. All of these hotbars display 6, hotbar display 7, and hotbar display 8 kind of things, like these things that I mentioned here. All of these things are just allowing me to be able to close certain windows quicker. For example, if I were to press this button, which is going to be hotbar display 9, so this bar right here that goes vertical right here is going to be my this is my hotbar 9, and I can toggle it between on and off. Now by default I have everything as off, so all of the 8, all of the 7, all of the 6, and all of the 5 hotbars that goes horizontal according to these icons, let's say they're all open, for example, when I press it, it's going to immediately turn it off. Now, when I reactivate it, instead of it being automatically on, I actually have it automatically off. This way, it's making like it makes it visually look a little bit more cleaner. And that way I can go ahead and click on which one I want. Now, this is the same thing here where I purposely put everything as off, so then when I'm only clicking on collectible, it doesn't keep my important items on. Now, just to give you an example of what that looks like. So if I keep this on, for example, right? and then I go ahead and open this automatically opens, and that looks really ugly, right? Being able, like, having two tabs open all of a sudden, it looks a little bit janky. It doesn't look as clean as it was before. So by default, I always have it off because, again, I'm only focusing on whatever I'm currently working on. Like right now, I'm only working on important items. I'm only working on collectibles. This way it gives you more of like a cleanliness look to the screen rather than it being just jumbled with a bunch of like hotbars appearing out of nowhere, which also makes it look a little bit not as pretty, basically. Now, all of these little 1, 2, 3, 4, I've made it just so it has HUD layout. Basically, HUD layout is going to just reference all of the things that you have here. So this is going to be referencing the HUD layout 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's pretty much it. You don't really need this. I personally like it because, for one, this is when I play my games. So when I play actual jobs or I'm like raiding or dungeoning or, you know, just whatever, I have it as display 1, right? HUD layout 1. But if I'm working on the macros, it's really it's really ugly to do it like this because everything is just by like a 4x3. It's not that clean. So I definitely keep it at 2 because everything is more straight, right? Because that's what I'm going to be referencing in the actual the collapsible hotbar trick. Everything's going to be horizontal. I also have a few more like 4 and 3. Like when I do 4 is when I do video, like when I make videos and I don't want too many things on the screen. I keep it at 4 because everything is condensed, everything is small, everything is nice in the corner, so I don't have to look at it and people can more focus on what's actually on the screen. Now, you could also do this by just, you know, hiding all of your layout. This way, everything is just clean. Don't have to worry about it. But sometimes you still want to look at, you know, your character's name, or sometimes you even want to see your NPC's name. And plus, you cannot open up your inventory without even looking at it. Like if I want to open my inventory like this, and I change to hide everything, like my inventory is not even there anymore. But with this, my inventory can still be on the screen, but everything else is pretty much condensed in the corner of the screens. This way, it's a little nicer whenever you're like showcasing something or doing something that you want to do. It gives you a little bit more freedom what you can do with it. But yeah, that wraps up today's video. I hope this video helps clarify a few things that people may have missed out or just didn't understand. I have people commenting about like, what if you can do something this? What if you do something that? And personally, if you want to find out more about it, please don't be shy to come to the Discord channel, message me on Discord, or message in the group, in the Final Fantasy XIV group chat in Discord. I'm sure me or somebody else could definitely help you out here. But from everything that I've been asked for, unfortunately, it just cannot be done. The game still has limitation on what you can and cannot do. This is by far the bare minimum of what you can do. I'm sure you can hard code it where it's a lot more precise and maybe with a timer and all of that jazz. But to keep it simple, if you're not very like adamant on trying to get it to figure out or get it to work, I recommend just doing what I've done. Maybe even copy every single thing that I do here and just copy what I do. This way it gives you like just an understanding of what happens. And then once you get more advanced and once you understand everything about it, you can go ahead and make your own version of it. So it's up to you, but I just hope that this video does clarify a few questions that people have. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If this video helps you out, or if this helps you clarify what you missed out in the collapsible video, please don't forget to subscribe down below. Make sure to ring that bell for notification because I do upload a video once a week. And once Endwalker comes out, we're going to be uploading mad content. We're going to be plowing through Endwalker, experiencing all of that new stuff, maxing out all of our characters and all of our jobs. It's going to be a load of fun. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Share this video with anybody that you think might need help with this as well. Please don't be afraid to join us on the Discord community if you have any questions with anything. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.